what's up guys, ScepterMC here, and today I'll be showing you quick tips on how can you build your own Minecraft house. Take note that this is in Pocket Edition, so if in your PC, well, you're gonna make this better, of course, quicker and more presentable. First, my first tip is go make the layers. Now, building can be done without layers. What layers is? Well, could you ask that question? Well, layers is the actual picture point on which how you see your build and how do you want your build to be. Basically, people disregard this tip, but this is one of the most needed tip in the whole building campaign. So if you don't have this, well, your building skills won't be complete in time for you to be the best one you want to be. Second tip, go make the framing. I know Grian MC already tackled this 5 B's of building, but some people still doesn't like it or may have misinterpreted the whole situation and may not like how he delivered it, or like, I don't know. People should like Grian's advices. I mean, they're really good, but some builders still disregard the pros and cons of not following this step. So, likewise what I said, you need the framing in order for you to be the best builder you probably can. So in frames, this foretells how good, how epic the actual building could be. With frames, you could tear up the whole layers and still make it look good, because layers intend to be how do I put this, unusable in times because they are not symmetrical one way to another, and frames doesn't actually go one-on-one with them, or isn't their cup of tea. So basically, in frames, you could foretell what type of building, room, or anything like those you would make. For example, those two rooms will be my storage areas because of what I'm going to tell you next, after the one that I will tell you next. This part right now which I'm doing is just a floor plan, just in case I will be wanting to do an interior video about this same house. So if I do that, well, I got a floor plan, I have the floor plan, and I won't be lazy enough to like disregard the video because almost everything has been done to me, only the interior designs is missing. So basically what am I doing right now is the structural form for my roof. As you could see, I'm putting up all of my frames for me to put up the roof. So I stopped for a second right there so that I could know where exactly, on how exactly would I make my front roof, because your front roof is basically the most, it is super important for you because it is the front of the property, it will be the highlight of the property. So here is the two roofs for the front of the property. I tend to make this short and narrow because I want it to be more presentable and have a little bit of depth into the middle without making it too big, too tall, or something like that. And would you remember how I said layers, when you mess it up, it the frames won't have it like it's their cup of tea. Well, here's what I mean. You clearly cannot see you clearly can't see that those type of roofings on which I've done in the front of the property won't be done the same in the side of the property. It's because it is too close to each other. So if I completed that area, if I didn't had to do a balcony, this would have a different approach and a different look. Overall, it might be ugly because the structure and the frame is not actually meant for that kind of building. So here is the roofing, which is sometimes can be very hard when it comes to the big distance zone, likewise what I have right now. You can obviously see that I could have made this as a whole and make it not so narrow so that it will be more better for the longer effects. But no, I didn't. I tend to refrain from disrupting my original structure because that is where we all started, where we all based. So basically, when you based on something, you need to continue doing that until the end of the build. Because if you disrupted that part of the build, well, you're going to see some nasty answers to your question in building. What I mean by that is you won't be pleased on how you wanted to see the whole build that you spent so much time. I mean, I could tell you right now that it's a 30-minute long video in the real time, but no, I'm just being rude because something like this cannot be approached that fast. Because if you're a curious builder, if you're the builder who doesn't disregard the pros and cons of each and every layer on that you do, well, you're just going to take more than an hour or something like an hour, like that. The reason why I had this 30 minutes, it's because I been trying to be more faster and trying out something new, which is building exercises. I could tell you that right now, but I will tackle that in a future video on which is a total different total different story into the building skill. Actually, my thumbnail for this video will be the final product of the house, and you will see there that it is so good because I followed the steps on building a house, a rewarding, looking good, but not so much intent of like I didn't give my 100% on this house. I just tried to make it good, but not very good or like excellent because I wanted to show simplicity into making a building. This is also the reason why I made the first episode of the Let's Build in a rustic house form. Rustic houses are actually old houses on which you might see in some horror movies, if you know what I mean. Well, if you do, well, that's nice. That's nice. It's really good. And if you know how much does it take time to like build all of these, well, you know how much does it take. Well, wait. Disregard all of the things that I've said about the question. How do you know and how much knowledge do you have in building? So enough with that. Let's go to the third part of the build. I mean fourth part, which is the walls. This will be pushed back one block into the frame. So, you know what I meant by making this in the interior form? Well, here's your answer. It's quite hard to make a big house on the starting point, but when you see it in the inside, you'll question yourself. How much time did I actually plan? How much time did I actually plan for this? Well, your answer will be simple if you haven't disregarded everything. So let's go to the fifth to the fifth part of building, which is design. Design can often be out of place. For example, making a dark build and just shining a little bit more super light-ish to that dark themed house will make things different because you originally planned to make the house dark and like haunted or something like that. But in the end, the light shines and corrupted the one that you don't, the one that you like. So here, adding bits of detail, design to the actual build will, and also those details should be correspondence to the build, because if you don't do that, well, you're gonna have an awfully bad building time. Seriously, guys, I will be feeling sorry if you go to the comments and say, hey, it sucks because what I'm doing here is doesn't suck. What I'm showing you, what I'm doing here is trying to tell you to not disregard the possibilities that the following steps and tips could make. So disregarding the steps could actually lower down the amount of people liking your build. Just like mine. Mine is awfully too much on the spruce point that I didn't have time to at least detail the roof. I mean, when some people look at the roof and they say, wow, that's a really nice roof pattern or a chimney. Well, you're right, because having those small patterns, chimneys, those little add-ons of height to the actual roof could be beneficial when you finish the build and you step back saying that, wow, I should have done my best. That's the same thing that I've told to myself. Not adding detail to the roof is just sad. Not putting more time, giving out more time to your build could disrupt the whole project. And having tiny bits of mistake like misconceptions and stuff like those could actually affect how you look and how you feel about your build. So now going back to the build. About misconceptions, I did some not so good symmetrical ways to the walls because some are longer than the other and some are shorter than the other. And now you'll see what I mean. Those two at the right and the middle are symmetrical. But in the middle, I mean the left hand corner, if we're looking at it, is one block bigger. So this could destroy the whole theme of that side of the house. I mean, do you know how much time a builder takes just for him or her to be finished in time? Well, here's your answer. Many, super time consuming. Seriously, it's super time consuming. I mean, now, just making this video 17 minutes long. Making a commentary about it makes my throat feel sore. And if I see like a minor mistake and everybody who watches me saw that and like go to the comment area and say, wow, you suck, or something like those, because I know that my video is laggy, and I'll try to like um give it a little bit more shine and not make it laggy, because yes, it is very laggy, and I appreciate for those people who see that it is laggy, because the people who see those and like being like how do I put this, showing people that they are like considerate or something like those is just really good. But here is a promise: in my next video, which will probably the interior or whatever you guys like, well, I'm going to give it to you the best way possible, even if my throat is sore. I will make it for you guys, because you guys keep my channel alive. So those are the final stuff that I'll be talking about, and after this flower pots, I'm going to say bye later.